and its outlet discharge as well. We want to make sure that there was engineering involved with determining the flow and the volume of the pipe that was installed that could accommodate the flow.
Are you
There's
talking
a lot of moving parts here.
about the retention pond at 5-3?
That's not a retention pond. It was never designed or approved to be a retention pond. It's a pond.
Well, at the time I put it
Please.
in, no permit was required. I put it in after I got flooded, after I purchased the property, to put it in. And it was put in to divert the water from my neighbor's house and my house, to shift it over to the side of the property that brought along the two properties at the time they had owned.
We are now live streaming, just to let you know.
Yeah,
Okay, no problem. So
Yeah, we're into the
Yeah.
town board work session at this point. I'll let you finish up your thoughts, and then we're going to have
I've been
to
flooded,
move
my
on.
neighbor's been flooded for 22 years, and never got any solutions. I put a pond in to direct the water away from the homes, but it's still not solving the problem because the pipe across the street is pinched off to the point where the new build, and that's west of us, the new build, his driveway has a little small pipe which is restricting the flow of that water too. So there's multiple things that are making us a pinch point. The property behind us on Broadway comes down in like a bowl behind us. And with that ditch directing water from Broadway down to us, and then that pipe being pinched off, I've been flooded for years. I put a pond in, I spent probably $30,000, $40,000 for 20 some years trying to protect my property. Because I can't get nobody to come out and look at it. Every time I would flood, I call the building department and say, oh, we're too busy, we got other things to do. No, that's not happening anymore. This is gonna get resolved, okay? And if it doesn't get resolved, there's gonna be lawsuits, and I'm gonna bring the news in. 22 years I've been dealing with this. I got pictures and videos of my basement full of water. My neighbor had the fire department turn the breakers off. The fire department and county had to shut the road down because how much water comes from the back and floods us. But nobody does nothing. So if I'm upset, then you know why.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
yeah,
You're welcome.
Have a good
Can I just
night.
add one thing, Mr. Michael? I'm Dave Sayers, 50 East Norton Road. I just want to add something. The permit that you said for that pipe that was put in across the street that's causing everything backing up on the east side of Livingston Road, that permit was issued by the town. The engineer revoked that permit. Well, he said, he went to Cindy at the time, which was a building inspector. He said, you need to revoke this permit because the pipe is not installed correctly. It's the wrong size pipe. It's too high. It's not meeting the pipe that's underneath the road, and it's going to cause backup. So if you look at the pictures of the property for the last 20 years, the height of that property just keeps diminishing because of the water flow. So now she's got, and the woman behind her at 6400 Broadway, who gave her a permit to dig a trench, to empty a drainage
No
ditch on
one
Broadway.
did. No one did. Right.
No.
So to sum it up, everyone's just kind of doing what they want around here, and now all three of our properties are completely underwater, and I can't build. I was
After
told,
being told we were able to, and when the
yes.
lot was sold to us, to give the seller the variance to let us build, they told us that the drainage issue was going to be resolved.
yeah, I have in the minutes at the board meeting in 2017 that this flood problem would be resolved if the seller sold her property. Now I'm the buyer, the seller sold her property, and the flooding is worse than ever. Nobody cared. So I don't really know what's going on here, but we're a little upset that we were told this is not a flood zone, this is not wetlands. The variance was changed to a single-family residence so we can build, and we can't build, and nobody cares. So nobody's getting back to me from the town. I've been trying to contact Mr. Matt Fischione for weeks now, calling, emailing. Nobody gets back to me. Everyone has been doing what they've been doing for the past 20 years. Poor Steve over here, just blaming it on the county, blaming it on everybody else. No one wants to deal with that, and we're very upset about it. And if nobody's going to deal with it, we are going to have to take it to another level, which we don't want to do. We just want somebody to come out and look at the pipe and help us solve this problem. And continue to put our feet up. That's all.
Okay, thank you very much,
Thank
folks.
you very much.
Thanks for being here. Okay, welcome to the Lancaster Town Board work session for May 6, 2024. We are going to go around to the different department heads here in the town of Lancaster and do any kind of reports that they have at this point in time. Good, Chairman? We good to go? Okay. All right. We're going to start off tonight with Chief Gummo. Chief, what do you got going on?
Well, we have a few different resolutions that are coming forward tonight. We're kind of all focusing around one major event with the police department. We are tonight with the hopefully the approval of the board. We are going to promote one of our lieutenants to fill the vacant patrol captain position. As a result of that, there's another vehicle that's going to need to be purchased that we are looking forward to doing through our asset forfeiture fund that we have to try to balance out not using anything on our direct budget. That's what I have.
Thank you very much. Okay, John? Get you out of here and get you well.
How we doing? I'm a little under the weather, so. Highway Department's set with their paving schedule. I talked about it at the last board meeting. We will be starting to mill on Monday, May 13th. Those roads are Hillside, Parkway, Pondview Court, Green Meadow, Heritage, Hill Valley, and Lucia Court. Paving will follow up the following Monday. We'll start that. Our crews have been busy replacing and repairing DIs for the past 3 weeks on all the streets that we just mentioned in preparation for our road resurfacing. We are still sending out brush crews and sweepers on a daily basis. There's one thing I wanted to just bring up to the board. Dawn has been very helpful with this little issue, but it is an issue and I think everyone needs to know about it. Waste Management's been doing our recycling, obviously, and a couple of their trucks have holes in the bed. It's dropping glass everywhere, and it's causing us to have to take our sweepers down to clean up, their mess. All down in Windsor Ridge, Sussex, we got to call it like 2:30 on Friday. Our guys leave it. I don't want to pay overtime for someone else's mistake. So she has been great, but I just wanted to bring it to the board. If you guys could stay on it. If they're bringing out trucks to service our residents, they need to make sure that they're roadworthy.
They had one truck and then they had a second truck. They've taken them off the road now for repair.
Okay, they did take them off?
Yes, they
Okay.
took them both off the road.
Okay, it's a concern because it costs us, it costs the department time and money, and, there's kids that play in those roads, ride bikes, the residents, no one wants flat tires or anything like
Thank
that,
you
so.
so much for
Yeah.
caring about the safety.
Oh, yeah, of course, but thanks for staying on it. I just wanted to, bring it up to the board, and thanks.
Thank you. John, I don't think anybody needs you to stay any further. Why don't you go home and get healthy?
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Mr. Stutz?
Good evening, Honorable Town Board. Bruce Stutz, Lancaster Parks, Recreation, Forestry, and Buildings. Looking for support, our department's looking for support on various resolutions before the board today. Similar to Chief Gummo, we're going to focus on one piece of importance is the resolution number 30. That's going to be for our recreation summer and fall brochure. This is a rough copy, but pretty close.
Thank you.
Resolution 30.
Thank you very much.
So, Bob Giroux and Tracy have been working on this brochure along with some oversight and also with Dawn and Bob's input. I don't think that the town of Lancaster has done a hard copy listing all of our programs. So I say a lot of times best kept secret, a lot of programs that a lot of our residents aren't aware of. So we're hoping kind of an old school brochure with a ton of information is going to be approved by the board. We're looking at about 21,000 of these to go out to residents of Lancaster. So something we're going to try. There's really no downside other than the cost. In the future, I think we're going to look at sponsorships and some other opportunities for that.
And a marketing program, so we don't need to pay for a mailing forever.
Yep.
This is going to help get the word out, but this is going to help us market from here to there.
For sure, yeah, the QR code, Don created a QR code, it's going to go right to our Facebook page, so it's going to help increase our social media presence. So I think it's a win-win for everyone.
So it's fair to say that this resolution should be a one-time expense, then there'll be advertisers
Yes,
in the
sir.
future.
Yes, I put together a marketing plan
Okay.
that I'm going to review with Bruce and Bob.
Okay, thank you.
No, that's great. On the park side, April, about 5 inches of rain. A normal year is about 14 inches, so we had almost a third of our rainfall last month. So, we're catching up, so it's playing some catch up on the grass and everything that's growing quicker than, and it's tougher to mow for our equipment. We've gotten some equipment stuck. But we're playing catch-up, so appreciate all the patience from the residents and everything else. And pretty much on the recreation side, Ponytail softball started up this past weekend, and also LD soccer. So we support those programs, a little more presence in the parks for their programs. And also this coming weekend, we have the Lunkers over at Westwood, Fishing Derby, as well as Lancaster City Baseball is open today. So there'll be a lot happening at the parks. We're gonna have a presence there. It's kind of what I think people just, and it makes it just better for everyone that we're around the parks if anything goes wrong. So on the forestry side, our spring planting is completed. Got about 110 trees in the ground, went well. And our Arbor Day celebration was last weekend. Appreciate everyone that was out there. It was I thought a very good event. So appreciate Bob for the PA system and everything else. So
My pleasure.
and on the building side, we're completing, hopefully today, Matt, that AC is going to be completed in the building department.
They actually showed up while we were in our meeting.
I think we were talking about it.
Announced and
Now
a little
that's action.
surprised, but the staff
Yep.
made their adjustments, and I commend them for being as patient as they have.
Yep, so we'll be finishing that up, hopefully today, worst case tomorrow. But any questions? All right, appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you.
Nick, do you have anything for now?
Not for now, but I think for later.
Okay, we're going to have an executive session to talk about something with collective bargaining. Ed, what do you got?
Real quick, cleaning up the water line work last year on Genesee and Bowen. They got out there last week to finally do the final restoration, topsoil seeding of the areas they disturbed. So that one's done. The Erie Street water line from Cemetery to Steinfeld is done, repaved, finished. All they have left to do is some striping, a couple spots. And the Siebert water line is underway. The Siebert culvert job, we have a kickoff meeting this week with DOT and the consultant. So we'll get a schedule from them and figure out where we are and how we're moving forward. Cemetery Road water line, we met with the grant writer last week.
Friday.
Yeah, Friday. And her and I are in discussions. We have a conversation tomorrow or Thursday, I think, to get her information for going after a grant for that water line. That's the one we talked to Erie County Water about upsizing and doing a bunch of stuff with.
Yeah, we really need that.
Yeah.
Cemetery Road.
Yes.
And then the historic building, I will have a change order coming in probably at the next meeting for some additional work uncovered as they're going along on that building. But they're plodding away as they find repairs needed. They let us know, let the architect know. We were out there, Bruce and myself, and the architect walked it a couple weeks ago now, and went over all the stuff they've uncovered. And that's what was put into the change order. So I'll be submitting that for the next meeting. One other item, somewhat drainage related, but I believe the lady was at the last board meeting. It had to do with Milton Drive drainage. Working with the village engineer, we sent somebody out there to figure out what was going on versus what's on the GIS, and what's on the GIS isn't accurate. There's some discrepancy. So the village DPW has been informed. It appears to us that everything is on their side of the line. Nothing to do with the pond that we have. The pond that we have works fine. So I think there's going to have to be some joint work between John and the village, because the village doesn't have a camera. We do, but the village has a snake truck, but the town doesn't. So there's going to have to be some cooperation here to figure out what's going on. And those lines need to be cambered. There's a plug somewhere. It's pretty obvious, but we just don't. I mean, we opened up all the manholes. We looked at where the pipes are running. They're not running where the design said they were running. And but it's all on the village side. So, that's it.
Matt?
My report is pretty lengthy. If you'd like, we can go through it during the regular meeting, or if you want to read through it now. Whatever you prefer.
Board? Why don't we run through it now?
Yeah.
I'll leave a copy of it for you. I have a hard copy here I'll distribute to the board. So historically, the adoption of Building Safety Month for 2024 was not promoted by the International Code Council. Building safety is an everyday effort, and it's jointly administered with our residents, the business owners, and all the stakeholders. It's the purpose of our existence at the Building and Zoning Department. We're thankful for the opportunity to service both the town and the village of Lancaster, so moving forward, I'm thinking that we're going to have a common goal of making sure that we do have building safety for all of our residents. We've been tracking village complaint specifically for the waste management program on a couple of direct neighborhoods. We've done several on-site inspections, we've made notifications and sent out final notices. I'm going to ask both the town and the village to direct our next steps for those that have not utilized the service as it was originally prescribed. A listing is going to be provided to this board on that report. The sale of sparkling devices, temporary operating permits have begun. The season of sale is between June 20th and July 5th. We've had the inventory information and licensing of the operators forwarded to all the volunteer fire departments, as well as both emergency managers in the village and the town. The canvassing for the position of the assistant code enforcement, the canvas list was exhausted, so we're on an ongoing search for a qualified individual to fill that role, and I'll keep this board abreast on any developments. Concerns for tall grass in response to what is termed as a no-mow May. These properties will be identified, notices will be sent, and escalation for enforcement will be administered. Remedy might lead to both the town and village to authorize third-party contractors to mow these properties, but will only happen after citations to the court systems are administered. We're not really a property maintenance company to send out private individuals. And I'll say this again, no, MoMA is not a sanctioned event. It's actually acting contrary to the claim that it's going to introduce pollinators, because you're going to have the pollinating colonies be established in these areas, only to cut these lawns down in June and effectively killing these colonies that are established. It's contradictory to the property maintenance code and the DEC recommendations for proper foraging. And I'll just remind residents that the New York State DEC burn ban is still in effect until May 14th. I'm asking leaders of this municipality to consider an open burn ban in heavier populated areas of the community to avoid any conflicts between neighbors and neighborhoods to promote fire safety. And as always, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have on the report, but I'll submit a hard copy to this board. Thank you.
You're just going to do Tom, then you, is that okay? Oh, question. Go ahead.
You want the town to do an advertised ban on burning for a longer period of time, or?
Historically, the DEC does identify the periods between, I believe it's March 15th and May 14th, banning any open burning of rubbish, brush, debris, whatever it is. In recreational fires, open burning, rubbish fires, it's clearly identified in both the DEC regulations, the state building code, and there's a definite difference between a recreational fire and obviously a brush pile burning. So we're in the last few days. Again, I'm just reminding, and in our discussions with zoning changes, it may be a topic that the residents may be interested in. Again, in those more heavily populated areas that could ban open brush fires only because of the nuisances it creates. I wouldn't recommend a website advertisement or thank you though.
Okay. Mr. Fowler, anything?
Nothing for your thing.
Okay. Diane?
We've continued with our dog census, and just over 3 months we've done it, and we've got a total of 1,100 new dog licenses just during that time. So we're trying to keep the residents safe. At a department head meeting, the dog control officer said how it is much easier now. The dogs are licensed. If one gets away or one attacks another dog, we have the information, excuse me, at our fingertips about their rabies, and he said it's much easier rather than running around and trying to figure that out. So I really thank the residents for licensing their dogs for the safety of all. And I think that's it.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have 35 resolutions for tonight, so why don't we run through them pretty quick while we have the time. Number one, I got affirm the minutes of the regular meeting of the town board held on April 15. Number two is approve audited claims. Councilmember Dickman.
Number 3 is the issuance of building permits.
Number 4 is amend resolution adopted April 15, 2024 regarding hours allowed to work part-time temporary seasonal employees. Councilmember Dickman.
Number 5 is it's the application for Fred Donato for special use permit for a 13-unit storage building at 5841 Genesee.
Okay. Councilmember Studley, number 6.
I have number 6, 7, and 8.
Okay.
I will do all 3 right now together. It is to authorize Edward Schiller to obtain quotes for the Lancaster Library renovation projects. Number 6 is for the staff break room, number 7 is for the staff bathroom, and number 8 is for the hallway that connects the bathroom and break room.
Councilmember Dickman, number 9.
Number 9 is private improvement permit for the Premier Dog Sports and 15 Lancaster Parkway to construct a 50 by 56 by 16 building with a lean-to and concrete walls.
Thank you. Number 10 is memorialize various officials regarding opposition to introduce offshore wind turbines in Lake Erie and supports Congressman Nick Langworthy's Lakes Before Turbines Act, H.R. 426. Number 11, adopt secret negative declaration regarding 131 Pavement Road. Number 12 is appoint Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Department part-time temporary seasonal employees. Councilmember Dickman, 13 through 16.
13 is, what do we got here? This is for the police gun range, so our police chief can have communication and allow other agencies to use our gun range. Number 14 is a special permit renewal for Dan Bedell on 3976 Walden for gunsmith and sales. 15 is actually going to be Councilmember Burkhart's. That's a typo.
Okay, so let's switch.
And very quickly, there's a typo in the third whereas under Scott. It's Narimi, it should just be Nermi, that first I. Ask you to strike.
So 15 is authorized special use permit for Lancaster Motor Plant.
16 is a special permit renewal, and this is for the 7-Eleven on Transit Road.
Councilmember Burkhart, 17.
Grant permission to Nathan Lefort to access town-owned property for research information.
Okay, resolution 18 is terminate the agreement with EBC HR and Payroll Solutions Incorporated, effective May 31st, 2024. Councilmember Schroeder, 19 and 20.
19 is purchase of a new field striper for Parks and Recreation. 20 was a change order to the communications walkie-talkie stuff for the...
Okay, Councilmember Dickman, number 21.
21 is for the Lancaster Police Department to replace the three Panasonic Tough Books and the patrol vehicles.
Okay, I got 22 through 28. 22 is appoint Angelo Greco, patrol captain. 23, appoint Highway Department part-time temporary seasonal employees. 24 is increase part-time permanent cleaners hourly wage. 25 is appoint Katie Shepard, clerk part-time permanent in the town clerk's office. 26 is authorize Niagara Frontier Inspection Agency Incorporated to conduct electrical inspections. Number 27 is appoint Youth Bureau part-time temporary seasonal employees. And 28 is rescind resolution adopted on August 21st, 23, regarding curbing sidewalk blocks and wheelchair ramp replacement to custom curb. And number 29, Councilmember Burkhart.
Accept proposal curbing sidewalk blocks and wheelchair ramp replacement to custom curb appeal.
Okay. Number 30, Councilmember Schroeder.
The funds for the printing and mailing of the recreation brochure.
Okay. Resolution number 31, Councilmember Dickman.
31 is going to be for the courts. They're looking to update their audio equipment and reupholster some furniture in the waiting room. And they're also going to appropriate money from the JCAP grant that they got for that project.
I'm sorry, in 32?
And 32 is for the police department to purchase a 2023 Dodge Charger.
Okay, 33 is authorized transfers in the 2024 budget regarding records management. 34 is set public hearing for the increase in improvements of facilities of Consolidated Water District. And Councilmember Dickman, number 35.
35 is to install the radio equipment and the lighting into that Dodge Charger we just spoke about.
Okay, does the board have anything else for the work session for right now?
No?
No? Okay, why don't we take a few minutes break there and come back at 7 o'clock? Thank you.
I want to make sure everyone knows that we are live streaming. Everything you say and do will be recorded.
What's that? Okay.
I know. I might go real quick. I just had to see something.
There was it. That's cool.
What's up?
Good. Jeff, how you doing?
Okay. Pre-filed resolutions, right?
It's a little close.
I know where that guy's. Him and Jeff are here for, they want the midnight stuff. Oh, house. No, me. I'm just saying.
No, that's good or
That's
bad?
why your father was.
I don't know. Oh, no. Let's see, where was it?
Oh, he was out at Boston
He was
Hotel.
out at Boston Hotel, yeah. He used to go out there Tuesdays with Jimmy Brown. They called it Tuesdays with Tommy, and they would either go out there or they would go to Russell's. And, yeah, he would, I don't know who he goes out there with now. Or if he just
I
goes
didn't
out to see
recognize the
Rebel.
other gentleman, but yeah, I've been working with the political
At the boot camp?
Carolyn Hawk
Yeah.
for many years through, because I did the advertising for the Positives.
Oh, okay. I'm a big fan of Rebel. I like it a lot.
Food was great. Always good.
And he's a character.
Yeah, he is.
He's a big character. Big personality, I should say. What I do?
What's that? We still going later?
Yeah. If you have time. But it'll be short. Your cuts.
Yeah, who's got the official time? I got like 30 seconds.
I think I would use your.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I got 7 o'clock, and we're going to begin the Lancaster Town Board meeting for May 6, 2024. Diane, roll call, please.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Here.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Here.
Councilmember Studley?
Here.
Supervisor Leary?
Here. Tonight, the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation will be done by Councilmember Burkhart. Please stand. Please remain standing.
Lord, we are meeting today to conduct matters of business. Guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. Thank you for being our source of guidance today. Amen.
Thank you. Okay, tonight we have 35 pre-filed resolutions, 0 suspended resolutions. We're going to have 1 public hearing coming up at 7:05. We have 3 executive sessions. We are closing in memory tonight of Carolyn Pokorski, Tom Donhauser, and Cindy Marlowe. Okay, our public hearing will be on V&T ordinance speed limits. In just a few minutes, we're going to get to the point where you can talk about the pre-filed resolutions. But since it's going to come quickly to 7:05, I'd like to start the evening off with a couple of proclamations. Okay. I'm not sure how many people are aware, but this is the Town Clerk's Week. So the first proclamation, whereas the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk, a time-honored and vital part of the local government, exists throughout the world, and whereas the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and agencies of government at all other levels, and whereas professional management clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all, whereas the professional municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community, and whereas professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations, whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk. Now, therefore, we, the members of the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster, do hereby recognize the week of May 5th through May 11th, 2024, as Professional Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our professional municipal or town clerk, Diane Terranova, and to all the town clerks and municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. Okay, and to follow up on that, our own Diane Terranova received quite an award. She got a scholarship, which was basically picked out of all the town clerks in 933 towns around the state of New York. She was the one who received this, and so I have another proclamation for that. Whereas Diane Terranova has served as a dedicated town clerk for the town of Lancaster since January 1, 2016, and whereas Diane Terranova is a member of the New York State Town Clerks Association, which was founded in 1982, and is dedicated to promoting the professional development of town clerks across the state as administrative leaders, and whereas Diane Terranova was chosen to be the recipient of the 2024 Founders Scholarship Award, and whereas Diane Terranova is awarded this prestigious Founders Scholarship Award by New York State Town Clerks Association in honor of Margaret Lamourie, who had the vision to start the New York State Town Clerks Association. Now, therefore, the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster wishes to recognize and congratulate Diane Terranova for winning the New York State Town Clerk Founders Scholarship Award and thank her for all her years of dedicated service to our community. Congratulations. Yeah, there you go. Thank you very much. Okay, Okay, I got 7:05. So we are going to go into our public hearing, excuse me, and after our public hearing, then we will allow people to address the pre-filed resolutions. Can I have a motion to go into the public hearing, please?
So moved.
Okay, second?
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, let me read the legal notice for the public hearing, Town of Lancaster, County of Erie, State of New York, local law amendment to Town of Lancaster Town Code, Part 2, General Legislation, Chapter 350, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 9, Speed Limits, Section 350-12, Maximum Speed Limits. Legal notice is hereby given that pursuant to the town law of the State of New York and pursuant to a resolution of the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster adopted on April 15, 2024, the said Town Board will hold a public hearing on the 6th of May, 2024 at 7:05 p.m. local time here at Town Hall to hear all persons upon the following: amendment to Town of Lancaster Town Code Part 2, General Legislation Chapter 350, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 9, Speed Limit Section 350-12, and the maximum speed limits as follows. Part 2, General Legislation. Part 350, Vehicles and Traffic. Article 9, Speed Regulations, Section 350-2, maximum speed limits. A speed limit of 30 miles per hour shall be posted in the following designated highways. Add Warner Road for northbound and southbound traffic from Pleasant View Drive to Green Meadow Drive, and 11 Stutzman Road for eastbound, westbound, northbound, and southbound traffic between Genesee Street and Pleasant View Drive. And now we'll give anyone who wants to speak on this particular public hearing the opportunity to come up and speak. And please raise your hand and then come up to the podium if anybody wants to speak about this during this public hearing. Okay, going once. Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is James Ostroff, O-S-T-R-O-F-F. My residence is 48 Stutzman Road, Bowmansville, New York. I'd like to thank the Honorable Town Board for the opportunity to speak on this matter tonight. In 1995, we moved into Stutzman Road. The speed limit was 35 miles an hour, justifiably so. In life, everything changes. From 1995 to the present, there have been a significant number of residential housing units constructed in the town. So much so that recently the Lancaster Police Department conducted a traffic study on Stutzman Road. They found that slightly less than 12,000 vehicles traveled on Stutzman Road that week. As the town continues to grow, so will this number. Stutzman Road is without sidewalks and curbs. Pedestrians, the walkers, the joggers, the bicyclists, the neighbors walking their dogs, moms walking their kids and their dogs, all walk in the street. Recent traffic studies by the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration, the American Automobile Association Foundation, and Arizona State University all conducted traffic studies. They investigated what the effects of an accident between a motor vehicle and pedestrians at various speeds. They all found that a 5-mile-an-hour speed reduction from 35 miles an hour to 30 miles an hour would result in a 25% decrease in serious injury or death. At a previous town board meeting, a petition signed by almost every resident, that's man, woman, and children, on Stutzman Road was presented to the town board advocating for the passage, for the reduction of the speed limit. Speaking for almost all the residents of Stutzman Road, we present this information for your thoughtful consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else who wants to speak on this public hearing at this point in time? Please raise your hand. Okay, seeing nobody else with their hand risen at this point in time, I'm going to ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close.
Second?
Second.
On the roll?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay. Next up is persons wanting to address the town board on pre-filed resolutions only. There are no suspended resolutions. The town board will hear the concerns of persons desiring to address the town board on any pre-filed or proposed suspended resolutions for a total period of 30 minutes. Please, if you want to be heard, raise your hand and be recognized by the supervisor. Give your name, his or her name and address to the town clerk. Speak directly to the town board members, not the audience, using the microphone provided right up here. And speak once for 5 minutes or less, unless the town board grants a speaker an extension of this time limit. Okay, anybody here want to speak on the pre-filed resolutions? Raise your hand. Yes, sir?
Jeff Colombo. Good evening, and congratulations, Diane.
Thank you.
Well-deserved award. I represent the Lancaster Speedway. I'm also here with Paul Cambria, who's co-counsel of the Speedway. So we are discussing the resolution that is on the agenda, the pre-filed resolution of approval that is on the agenda this evening. And looking at the resolution itself, we have no issues with respect to those items that are listed A through F in the pre-filed resolution. We do have some discussion that we'd like to have with you regarding the next 3 items on the pre-filed resolution. The first one being item G, which talks about the specified hours of operations as stated in Chapter 221 of the Noise Ordinance. That ordinance restricts the operations of the Lancaster Speedway and other events to 11 o'clock at night. Now, as you're all very familiar, the Speedway is actually older than I am. It's been in existence since the 1950s, and it has really not had major issues given the fact that it's a speedway and there are cars and the cars make noise. But I don't know that there's been a demonstrable showing by the town that would require us to close at 11 o'clock because it does present a hardship. The folks who race here are not what you would consider to be professional race drivers. They're blue-collar workers for the most part, who work during the day and then get to the track at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock to do the pre-track testing and so on and so forth. It takes some time to do those things, and it has worked well over the past 70 years to have the 12 o'clock midnight deadline. So we would like to revisit that issue. There was discussion in the pre-filed resolution as well about demonstrating a noise abatement plan within 6 months and present to the board steps to address the noise abatement plan. So I think that the cart is coming before the horse here. Whether or not a noise abatement plan is even necessary needs to be demonstrated with a noise study. So we would invite the town to come out to the racetrack and not adopt the resolution this evening with those 3 last portions of the resolution itself, and let's determine whether there really is a problem. As I said, they have been there since the 1950s. So is there noise? Certainly, there's cars, there's noise. But does it exceed the ambient level? Does it create a problem for those in the nearby adjacent area? There aren't that many residences in the area. So let's do this the way I think we all agree it should be done. Let's go out there. We invite the town to come out there during one of the races and let's study it. Let's test it before we're required to do something, asked to do something that we don't know is even necessary. So if the ambient noise level is not such that you would need to take any action, then why have those conditions in there? So, you know, when you talk about some of the guidelines in the ordinance, 221-5, talking about sound projecting from one use district into another use district, having a lower noise level limit, shall not exceed the limits of the district into which it is projected. The noise level of a district shall be measured as the ambient noise level existing in that direction, in that district. That's exactly what we're talking about. Let's do that. Let's do it jointly so that we can make a decision and not put these conditions on the speedway that really present a problem for those who have been racing there for so many years. So with that, I would ask you to hold on the resolution this evening. We certainly would like it approved in the future, but I think a joint effort is necessary between us and the town to determine whether or not we really do have a problem out there. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, does anybody else want to speak on any of the pre-filed resolutions? Raise your hand. Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Gary Costello. I serve as the president of the Hull House Foundation, which runs the Hull Family Home and Farmstead on Genesee Street. And I would like to address the resolution of the Lancaster Town Board of June 30th, 2023 regarding the Lancaster Speedway. A section of that resolution requests that a plan for noise abatement be presented to the town board within 3 months, and work to implement that plan should begin within 9 months. There are over 45,000 residents in the town of Lancaster. Well, not all residents are concerned with this issue of excessive noise. A significant number are. I have heard from or spoken with many residents of the town, some as far away as 2 miles from the Speedway, who have concerns about the noise levels. Now, I have heard it said that, well, anyone moving into the area must surely have been aware that the track was there. May I point out that Warren Hull, Revolutionary War veteran, built his home in 1810, quite a few years before the track appeared and before internal combustion engines even existed. While no one resides at the home any longer, I would like to point out that its significance has been recognized by the National Park Service, which conducts the National Register of Historic Places and has placed the home on its register, as well as the New York State Register of Historic Places, and is now used as an educational site presenting programming throughout the spring, summer, and fall seasons of the year. One very important consideration is that the level of activity at the track has increased rather significantly over the years. The 1965 season saw approximately 20 to 30 events, as did 1969, 1972, to mention just a few. Looking at this year's schedule, the total number of events is close to 90. That's 90 days out of a 6-month season, May to October, a season of 184 days. That's nearly 50% of the days. That the noise level is excessive is not in dispute in our minds. Everyone knows that. There are those who enjoy watching people drive around a track at 100 miles per hour, and that's fine. But can we please be respectful of all the other thousands of residents that do not enjoy the disturbance for almost 90 days of the year? Some things are just wrong. Forcing the community to endure these high levels of noise is one of them. It can be ameliorated, and it should be. So back to the town's own resolution, a call for a plan and the implementation of that plan. The plan for noise abatement be presented to the town within 3 months and work commenced within 9 months. That's what the resolution said. Thank you for your consideration.
All right, anybody else want to address the town board on any of the pre-filed resolutions? Okay, raise your hand. Seeing no hands raised at this point, we are going to move on to the next section. Okay. Any of the town board members have any official reports they want to present at this point?
I do.
Councilmember Schroeder?
We have just formed a grants committee, and we have just hired a new grants writer for the town of Lancaster. We've put in a better system in place for seeking grant monies for the town of Lancaster. And this is seeking monies, in higher up governments, the county, the state, New York State. This is all our tax dollars that we'd like to try to recoup and have those funds used here on projects right in our backyard. So we met with the department heads and the new grant company and gave them wish list and are starting to work on projects, as well as last week we filed a request for, I believe, almost 5, I think Chief did one too, for some grant money. So things are rolling along with that.
Thank you. Any other town board members' official reports? Any town board members' committee reports? No? Okay, nothing at this time. All right, we're going to start with our pre-filed resolutions. Okay, resolution number 1 is mine. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting of the town board held April 15th, 2024 be and are hereby affirmed. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 2, be it resolved that the following audited claims be and are hereby ordered paid from their respective accounts as per abstract to be filed in the office of the town clerk by the supervisor's office, to wit, check run number 050620024, total amount hereby authorized to be paid $1,131,365.81. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Councilmember Dickman, number 3, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Honorable Board, I offer Resolution 3. Resolved that the following building permit applications be and are hereby reaffirmed. We have a total of 94, 71 in the town, 23 in the village. Now therefore be it resolved that the building permit applications herein coded CSW for conditional sidewalk waiver be and are hereby reaffirmed with the waiver of the town ordinance required for sidewalks. However, the waiver is granted upon the express condition that the town of Lancaster at any future date reserves the right to order sidewalk installation at the expense of the property owner.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? I do have a question. Are there any sidewalk waiver requests in this group of permits?
There's none within this group.
Thank you. On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 4. Whereas on April 15, 2024, the town board approved a resolution appointing the following individuals to the position of part-time temporary seasonal in the Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Department for the spring, summer of 2024, working not more than 19 3/4 hours. Whereas due to an oversight, part-time temporary seasonal employees are not limited to working 19 3/4 hours, and that statement should be removed. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the resolution adopted April 15, 2024 should read, the following individuals are hereby appointed to the following part-time temporary seasonal positions in the Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Department for a period not to exceed 5 months, and that these being part-time positions provides no health insurance, sick days, vacations, or other fringe benefits not specifically mandated for part-time employees. And we have Richard Fay, John Cook, William Chielli, and Kyle Backert. Be it further resolved that the supervisor of the town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing, and this resolution shall supersede the previous resolution. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Councilmember Dickman, number 5, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Honorable Board, I offer Resolution 5 for adoption. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster held a public hearing November 7, 2022 upon the application of Fred Donato on behalf of Donato Homes for a special use permit to allow for the operation of a 13-unit storage building on the premise locally known as 5841 Genesee Street in the Town of Lancaster for the period of November 21, 2022 through November 20, 2024. And whereas on December 5th, 2022, said special use permit was amended to adequately reflect the approved site plan by clarifying the allowed use, with the permit to read for the proposed construction of 14 buildings with 255 rental units, including a rental office, which will operate as a public storage facility. Whereas on April 15, 2024, the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster approved the site plan requiring an amendment of the special use permit granted to Fred Donato of Donato Homes to reflect the amended site plan for 20 storage buildings with 422 public storage rental units with rental office. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster has determined that it's the best interest of the community to make this clarification. Now therefore be it resolved as follows, that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster does hereby grant a renewal of the special use permit to Fred Donato of Donato Homes to reflect the amended site plan for 10 storage buildings with 422 public storage rental units with rental office on the premise locally known as 5841 Genesee in the Town of Lancaster, upon the conditions as set forth in the zoning ordinance for the period of May 6, 2024 through May 5, 2026, and that the applicant will continue in compliance with conditions set forth in Chapter 400 zoning, Article 14, Administration and Enforcement, Section 400-20, Light Industrial, and Section 400-22, Supplementary Regulations for LI District, and Section 478, Special Use Permits to the Code of the Town of Lancaster, and to any additional conditions listed herein if the applicant continues to engage in the occupation listed above, and that's that the permits to be renewed every 2 years. Storage shall be solely inside the facility. The applicant will authorize representatives for the building inspector's office to enter upon reasonable notice. And last but not least, the applicant will provide the town clerk a copy of the business papers and New York State federal tax ID number.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Councilmember Studley, numbers 6 through 8, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board. I offer resolution number 6 for adoption, whereas the Board of the Lancaster Public Library has requested that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster authorize Edward Schiller of W.M. Shutt Associates, the town engineer, to obtain quotes for the Lancaster Library's renovation project of the staff break room. Whereas the Town Board has reviewed and considered the request for the Lancaster Public Library's renovation project and deems it in the public interest to obtain the quotes. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby authorizes Edward Schiller, the town engineer, to obtain quotes for the Lancaster Public Library's renovation project for the staff break room.
Do I have a second? Second. On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes.
I also offer resolution number 7 for adoption, whereas the Board of Lancaster Library has requested that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster authorize Edward Schiller, the town engineer, to obtain quotes for the Lancaster Public Library's renovation project of the staff bathroom. Whereas the Town Board has reviewed and considered the request for the Lancaster Public Library's renovation project and deems it in the public interest to obtain quotes. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby authorizes Edward Schiller of W.M. Shutt Associates, the town engineer, to obtain quotes for the Lancaster Public Library's renovation project of the staff bathroom.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Sir.
Second.
She's front of my throat. I'll second that.
Okay, on the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes.
And now I offer resolution number 8 for adoption, whereas the Board of the Lancaster Public Library has requested that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster authorize Edward Schiller of W.M. Shutt Associates, the town engineer, to obtain quotes for the Lancaster Public Library's renovation project of the hallway connecting the staff bathroom and break room. Whereas the Town Board has reviewed and considered the request for the Lancaster Public Library's renovation project and deems it in the public interest to obtain the quotes. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby authorizes Edward Schiller of W.M. Shutt Associates, the town engineer, to obtain quotes for the Lancaster Public Library's renovation project for the hallway connecting the staff bathroom and break room at 5466 Broadway, Lancaster, New York.
Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Councilmember Dickman, number 9, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Board. I offer Resolution 9. Whereas Michelle Gordon of Premier Dog Sports and Events Center, LLC at 15 Lancaster Parkway, Lancaster, New York, has applied to the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster for a permit for private improvements upon real property in the Town of Lancaster within 15 Lancaster Parkway. And whereas the Town Engineer of the Town of Lancaster is certified on the following permit application that he has reviewed the improvement plans and permit application for the installation of the private improvements requested and that they conform to the ordinance of the Town of Lancaster. Now therefore be it resolved that the private improvement permit application number 856 for Lancaster Parkway, Lancaster, New York, which is a permit for private improvements for the construction of a 50 by 56 by 16 building with a 12 by 56 open lean-to, concrete floors inside the building area, and a lean-to area to be constructed at 15 Lancaster Parkway.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 10. Whereas New York State has passed the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act, the Climate Act, calling for 70% of electricity in the state to be produced by renewable resources by 2030, and 100% of the state's electricity be generated by renewable resources by 2040. And whereas Congressman Nicholas A. Langworthy has voiced deep concern on the addition of wind turbines and introduced legislation to curb this negative development under H.R. 426, the Lakes Before Turbines Act would protect our environment and local economies from ill-conceived wind energy projects on these waters. And whereas wind energy has been designated by the Climate Act as an essential form of renewable energy, and whereas there are a number of commercial wind energy facilities operating in Western New York, with more in the planning and permitting stages, and whereas New York State's Power Grid Manager, New York Independent Systems Operator, NYISO, has determined the Western New York Zone Grid to be 89% free of carbon emissions in the generation of electricity. And whereas the NYISO has described the lack of electricity transmission facilities capable of transmitting electricity from Western New York to downstate grid zones, which are 90% dependent on fossil fuels for generating electricity. And whereas New York State Energy Research and Development Authority determined in 2022 that this is not the right time to consider constructing offshore wind facilities in Lake Erie. And whereas the offshore wind industry is experiencing global difficulties related to inflation and supply line shortages, as evidenced by the recent New York State Public Service Commission decision denying industry requests for higher power delivery rates, and whereas the long-planned Lake Erie offshore wind energy project known as Icebreaker Wind near Cleveland, Ohio, has recently been suspended. Whereas questions concerning offshore wind energy facilities and freshwater bodies remain unanswered, such as those which are not included in the New York CERTA reports of 2011 and 2022, what assurances that toxic industrial waste in the lake bed will not be disturbed to endanger safe drinking water and enter the food chain of Lake Erie's fish and bird species? How would the placement of offshore wind turbines in Lake Erie affect the migratory pathways and behavior of economically important game fish? What would be the impact on tourism of placing wind turbines in Lake Erie? Specifically, how would offshore wind turbines in Lake Erie contribute to the emissions reduction goals of the Climate Act? How would the radar interference created by offshore wind turbines in Lake Erie affect the safety of shipping, recreational boating, search and rescue operations, and international border security? How would microplastics and toxic chemicals like BPA and PFAS emitted by wind turbines impact water quality and the ecology of Lake Erie? How much oil and other petroleum products are contained within each offshore wind turbine, and how would oil spills from wind turbines be mediated and other maintenance performed during annual periods of ice coverage on Lake Erie? How would noise and vibrations emitted by wind turbines impact the quiet enjoyment of Lake Erie by fishers, boaters, and nearshore residents and visitors? What are the effects of vibrations emitted by the wind turbines on the organisms living in the lake bed? How would the blinking red lights atop each offshore wind turbines be reconciled with increased interest in preventing light pollution in dark skies? What would be the impact of planting offshore wind turbines in Lake Erie's migratory flyways of birds, bats, and butterflies? What are cumulative impacts of placing offshore wind turbines in Lake Erie given the already large concentration of onshore wind turbines along the Ontario shoreline and the elevations overlooking the lake in Chautauqua County? What restrictions or no-go zones would be imposed on fishers and boaters in Lake Erie? How would the public trust doctrine, which serves to protect the interest of all Western New Yorkers in a healthy Lake Erie, be honored in the context of primary financial benefits to the offshore wind industry? How would offshore wind turbines impact historic sites such as shipwrecks and lighthouses? Would the rights of the Seneca Nation of Indians to administer water quality standards on the Cattaraugus Reservation be a consideration in placing offshore wind turbines in Lake Erie? Would the high cost of offshore wind energy in Lake Erie be explained to the town of Hamburg electricity ratepayers in terms of monthly increases in their utility bills? How would property values along the lakeshore be impacted by view sheds, including offshore wind turbines and their industrial support and maintenance activities? Conclusion: some of these questions cannot be answered or will be cost prohibitive to address. There are many documented examples of negative impacts of wind turbines on both terrestrial and aquatic environments. There are alternatives such as small modular nuclear and hydropower, which deserve significant consideration as possible future sources of power and do not negatively affect Lake Erie or other large bodies of water. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Town Board of Lancaster opposes at this time any efforts to introduce offshore wind turbines in the waters of Lake Erie. Be it further resolved that the Town Board of Lancaster supports Congressman Nick Langworthy's Lakes Before Turbines Act and urges its immediate consideration in Congress. Be it further resolved that the Town Clerk, Diane Terranova, shall forward an email copy of this resolution to the Governor, Kathy Hochul, Honorable U.S. Congressman Nick Langworthy, Honorable Senate Majority Leader Andrea Stewart Cousins, Honorable State Minority Leader Rob Ort, Honorable Speaker of the Assembly Carl E. Hasty, Honorable Majority Leader of the Assembly Crystal Peoples-Stokes, Honorable Minority Leader of the Assembly William A. Barclay, Honorable New York State Senator Patrick Galvin, Honorable New York State Assemblyman David Pietro, Honorable New York State Assembly Person Monica Wallace, Honorable New York State Assemblyman Mike Norris, Honorable Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz, and Honorable Erie County Legislator Frank Todaro. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Okay, resolution number 11. Whereas the town board is considering the proposed construction of a 4,791 square foot expansion of an existing parking lot and a 1,200 square foot addition to an existing building to be used as a pre-owned car sales and repair facility submitted by Richard Thurnher on a 1.48 acre parcel located at 131 Pavement Road in the town of Lancaster. And whereas the town of Lancaster Planning Board has reviewed the environmental impact of this expansion project pursuant to seeker regulations at their meeting on March 20th, 2024, and recommended a negative declaration be issued. And whereas the town board has duly considered the plans for the project using the short environmental assessment form, criteria for determining significance set forth in 6 NYCRR Section 617-7C of the State Environmental Seeker Regulations, and such other information deemed appropriate, including the recommendation of the Town of Lancaster Planning Board. And whereas the Town Board has identified the relevant areas of environmental concern has taken a hard look at these areas and has made a reasoned elaboration of the basis for its determination. And whereas the proposed action has been labeled an unlisted action under seeker, now therefore be it resolved by the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster that, 1, this project is described as the proposed construction of a 4,791 square foot expansion of an existing parking lot and a 1,200 square foot addition to an existing building to be used as a pre-owned car sales and repair facility located at 131 Pavement Road, will not result in any large and important environmental impacts and therefore will not have a significant adverse impact on the environment. 2, the reasons supporting this determination are set forth on the attached notice of determination of non-significance with respect to this project. 3, the town board is lead agency with reference to the above described action hereby adopts the attached negative declaration of environmental significance. 4, the town clerk shall file a copy of the negative declaration in the file for the project. 5, the town attorney's office shall prepare and file a notice of determination with a petitioner and with all required New York State and Erie County agencies filing a copy of the letter of transmittal. And 6, this resolution is effective immediately. May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 12. Whereas Bruce Stutz, Parks Crew Chief for the town of Lancaster, by letter dated April 25th, 2024, has recommended the appointment of the following individuals to the position of part-time temporary seasonal in the Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Department for the spring-summer season of 2024. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the following individuals are hereby appointed to the following part-time temporary seasonal position in the Parks, Rec, and Forestry Department for a period not to exceed 5 months, and that these being part-time positions provide no health insurance, sick days, vacation, or other fringe benefits not specifically mandated for part-time employees. Nathan Massaro, Brendan Mahoney, Trevor Odorobina, Ian Jescola, I apologize if I'm hurting some of these names, Lucas Jacka Miak, George Besh, Alondra Billett, and Lane Miklas, all at, well, almost all at the hourly wage. The first several $16.50, the last, we have one tennis supervisor, $22, and a couple of recreation attendants at $16 per hour. Be it further resolved that the supervisor of the town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing. And do I have a second?
Second.
On the question, do we have any of those people here in the audience tonight, Bruce? No? Okay. And on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Councilmember Dickman, resolution number 13, 14, 15, and 16, please.
Actually, 15 is,
Councilmember Burkhart, I'm sorry. 13 and 14, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Board. I offer resolutions 13 and 14 for adoption. Whereas various outside law enforcement agencies contact the Town of Lancaster Police Chief to request permission to rent the Lancaster Police Department's gun range and facilities for training purposes and other necessary services, and whereas contracts and memorandums of understanding are required to be placed to outline expectations and pricing for materials and services being furnished and to provide recourse for both entities if those expectations aren't met. Now therefore be it resolved as follows, that all contracts and memorandums of understanding presented to the town and or the Lancaster Police Department shall be provided to the Town Supervisor's Office for review prior to execution. Number 2, both the Chief of Police and the Town Supervisor are hereby authorized to execute contracts and memorandums of understanding between the Town of Lancaster and various law enforcement agencies for use of the Police Department's gun range and other facilities for the fiscal year starting October 1st, 2023 through September 30th, 2024. Number 3, when applicable, the Chief of Police's staff shall obtain and provide proof of liability coverage from said agencies. Number 4, any funds received for said rentals shall be deposited into the appropriate police budget account by the town's administration and finance director. And number 5, a fully executed version of the aforementioned documents shall be provided to the town supervisor's office for distribution.
Okay, do we have a second
Second.
on the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes.
And number 14, whereas the town board of the town of Lancaster has heretofore held a public hearing upon the application of Daniel E. Dell II for a special use permit for home occupation of gunsmith and sales on the premise located at 3976 Walden Avenue, Lancaster, New York, and the board issued such special use permit on June 6, 2016, which special use permit is subject to renewal upon application by the property owner. And whereas per its terms and conditions, this special use permit is currently up for renewal. And whereas by letter dated April 17, 2024, Daniel E. Bedell II has requested that the town board renew the special use permit for an additional 2-year term. Whereas Matt Fishione, Code Enforcement Officer, has recommended approval of the special use permit renewal per his letter dated April 23, 2024. Now therefore be it resolved as follows, that the town board of the town of Lancaster does hereby grant the special use permit renewal to Daniel Bedell for the home occupation of gunsmith and sales in the premise of 3976 Walden Avenue upon conditions set forth in the zoning ordinance for the period of June 6, 2024 and ending June 5, 2026, and that the applicant will continue in compliance with the conditions as set forth in special regulations, home occupations, and special use permits of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, and to any additional conditions listed herein, as long as the applicant continues to engage in this home occupation on the premise, namely, and it's the same 5 conditions that were on there previously.
Do we have a second
Second.
on the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Councilmember Burkhart, number 15, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board. I'm offering Resolution 15 for adoption. Whereas by resolution adopted on June 18th, 2018, the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster approved a special use permit application submitted by Timothy Packman on behalf of Lancaster Speedway Properties LLC, New York International Raceway Park, Lancaster National Speedway, to operate a motorsport speedway dragway, which was amended on September 7th, 2021, to allow a venue for small outdoor concerts on premises located at 57 Gunville Road in the town of Lancaster. Whereas Lancaster Speedway Properties LLC and real property located at 57 Gunville Road was purchased by Lancaster Motorplex LLC, who submitted an application requesting that the special use permit issued to New York International Raceway Park Lancaster National Speedway be transferred to Lancaster Motorplex LLC. And whereas on June 20th, 2023, the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster approved the transfer of the special use permit previously issued to the New York International Raceway International Park Lancaster National Speedway as amended on September 7th, 2021 to Scott Nermy, Lancaster Motorplex LLC. Whereas by correspondence received in the Lancaster Town Clerk's Office on March 14th, 2024, Lancaster Motorplex by Scott Nermy is requesting renewal for renewal of the special use permit. And whereas Matt Fishione, the town's code enforcement officer, completed an on-site inspection and found the property to be compliant to the original conditions of the special use permit per his letter dated April 18th, 2024. Now therefore be it resolved that the pursuant to Chapter 400 zoning, Article 6, Industrial Districts, Section 400-20, Industrial District, LIB2Q of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, the Town Board hereby approves the author and authorizes the special use permit issued as amended on September 7th, 2021 to New York International Raceway Park, Lancaster National Speedway for location 57 Gunville Road, Lancaster, New York, and transferred to Lancaster Motorplex LLC at the same location for the period of June 18th, 2024, ending June 17th, 2026. 2, the applicant will continue in compliance with conditions as set forth in Section 400-20, Light Industrial District, Section 400-22, Supplementary Regulations for LI District, and Section 400-78 special use permits of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, and to any additional conditions listed herein if the applicant continues to engage in the occupation listed above on the premises, namely, there are 6 same conditions. The 3 the gentleman spoke about was, we did change on G from midnight to 11 p.m. H, present the town board a noise abatement plan within 6 months and present to the town board, this is I, steps taken to address noise abatement concerns within 9 months.
Do we have a second
Second.
on the question? And were you done, or weren't you?
Oh, I was gonna just make a comment on it.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
So with it, we do want to be open, I want to be the contact for the Motorplex, and yes, do the studies that we can see what the decibel noise is, and where the national and where the state wants that noise to be, the decibel level. So we want to work with the Speedplex and with also our residents to make a cohesive unit with both.
And my comments on this are, I agree with you 100%. My only comments are, we gave the same special use permit to the same individual last year with the same requirements for 6 months and 9 months, and nothing was done at that point in time. Now, since that point, I understand that Mr. Nurmi, if I'm saying that correctly, did meet with the town engineer and our town code enforcement officer and talked about bringing in an engineer to see what could be done for noise abatement in that area. So again, I think that's a great idea. My only concern here is that this be done in a more timely fashion. If we could set a shorter period of time in there, because again, we're just waiting until the end of the season again with nothing being done. So I would ask that this be changed to a noise abatement plan, and I believe the attorney said that you're ready to have somebody come in and check that. Is that correct?
Well, my suggestion was that we meet on the site with a consultant to determine whether it was necessary. We could take readings with everybody there during the race. And I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think that's what we need to do. Let's make a determination whether it's necessary to have any abatement before we make a decision that we're abating.
Okay.
But
So
even at the
I
6
think
months or whatnot, I think we get somebody out there, whether it's 3 months or 6 months, that study is going to show what we need to do, whether you have to do something, not do something. So either way, that study needs to be done, and would like, to get that done sooner than later.
Will the board meet us out there, or representatives of the board meet?
Yeah, I'll definitely come up.
Great.
And the town engineer?
Yeah.
Code enforcement? Okay. Can we then shorten this up to, how long you think it's going to take? 30 days to get somebody out there?
Yeah.
Okay, to 30 days on the, on H?
I would say to anything, I would say, 3 months. It splits it in half.
Okay, within 3 months?
Within 3 months.
Within 3 months.
But I'm assuming it'll be sooner.
Yeah, I'll make contact with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Mark, for stepping up and taking charge of that. I really appreciate it. I'm
Thank
sure the
you.
residents appreciate it too.
Okay, and we'll find if there's anything that shows up at that point in time, and then, we will leave the other things in here that some type of noise abatement concerns have to be dealt with.
Right. That's fine.
Mr. Supervisor, still 9 months? Are you changing that also?
I would say if we find something within 3 months, we should probably start to fix it, 6
I
months?
keep it at 9.
9? Okay, all right, that's fine. Okay. On the roll. Oh, anybody else have any comments?
No.
I would just like to just say one thing about the Speedway. I know you already mentioned you've been here since the 50s. A lot of us grew up going there, and it is a gem to our community, but we do have to be good neighbors, and I think that this resolution is going to be a good compromise for everybody. It's a place we all enjoy it, and we just want to work with the residents in the Speedway.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Carl.
On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman.
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder.
Yes.
Councilmember Studley.
Yes.
Supervisor Leary.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Resolution number 16, Councilmember Dickman.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Board. I offer the resolution number 16. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster previously held a public hearing upon the application of Isaac Barnhill, licensing coordinator for 7-Eleven, for a special use permit to operate a convenience store with a gas station and car wash at the premise of 4949 Transit Road in the Village of Depew, Town of Lancaster, and the Town Board issued such special use permit on April 18, 2022 for a 2-year period. And whereas by letter dated April 3, 2024, Mackay Smith, licensing specialist for 7-Eleven, has requested that the Town Board renew the special use permit for an additional 2 years. And whereas Matt Fischione, Town Code Enforcement Officer, has inspected the property and found it to be in compliance with the site plan and prior special use permit approval conditions and with Section 400-18 of the Lancaster Town Code per his letter dated April 18, 2024. Now therefore be it resolved as follows, that the Town Board does hereby grant the special use permit renewal to Mackay Smith, licensing coordinator for 7-Eleven, to operate the convenience store of the gas station and car wash on the premise of 4949 Transit Road in the Village of Depew, Town of Lancaster, upon the terms and conditions set forth in the zoning ordinance for the period beginning April 18, 2024, and ending April 17, 2026, and that the applicant will continue in compliance with the conditions set forth in General Commercial District and special use permits of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, and do any additional conditions listed herein if the applicant continues to engage in the occupation listed above on the premise, namely, and it's the same 3 conditions.
And do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman.
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder.
Yes.
Councilmember Studley.
Yes.
Supervisor Leary.
Yes. Councilmember Burkhart, number 17, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board. I'm offering Resolution 17 for adoption. Whereas Nathan Brady, a technician with the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service, European Cherry Fruit Fly Program, by email dated April 25th, 2024, has requested permission to survey and trap the European cherry fruit fly on select locations within the Town of Lancaster, which may include town-owned property. And whereas within the same email, Nathan Brady is also requesting permission on behalf of the USDA to survey and trap the box tree moth on select properties which may also be town-owned. And whereas the information provided was received and approved by the town's attorney's office, and there were no objections or restrictions submitted by any board member or department head regarding this request. And whereas, after due review and consideration, the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster deems it in the public's interest to grant Mr. Brady's request on behalf of the USDA. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby grants permission to Mr. Nathan Brady to access town-owned property to survey and trap the European cherry fruit fly and box tree moth as a technician for the U.S. Department of Agriculture Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service. And be it further resolved that the town supervisor is hereby authorized to execute the property access request forms for the European cherry fruit fly and the box tree moth on behalf of the Town of Lancaster.
Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman.
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder.
Yes.
Councilmember Studley.
Yes.
Supervisor Leary.
Yes. Resolution number 18, whereas by a resolution dated January 3rd, 2023, the previous administration entered into an agreement with EBC HR and Payroll Solutions Incorporated, located on Ohio Street in Buffalo, New York, to provide the town employees with payroll and HR services. Whereas the current town supervisor and the town board members have decided to terminate the agreement with EBC HR and Payroll Solutions and retain a new payroll company. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town board of the Town of Lancaster hereby authorizes the town supervisor, Robert E. Leary, to terminate the agreement entered into by the prior administration between EBC HR and Payroll Solutions of Buffalo and the Town of Lancaster pursuant to the terms and conditions stated therein, effective May 31st, 2024. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Councilmember Schroeder, number 19 and 20, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I move resolution number 19. Whereas Bruce Stutz, the town's parks crew chief, has requested the town board approve expenditures for the purchase of one new and unused field laser S100 field striper for use by the Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Department. And whereas the park crew chief has obtained 3 quotes for the above referenced equipment in accordance with the town of Lancaster's procurement policy, and whereas by letter dated April 23, 2024, Bruce Stutz has recommended that the purchase be made from Sherwin-Williams for an amount not to exceed $2,995 per their quote valid from April 3, 2024 to May 31, 2024. And whereas this purchase will be paid for with funds available in the town's 2024 Parks Equipment and other motorized equipment budget line item. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Lancaster hereby approves the expenditure of funds as requested by Bruce Stutz, the town's park crew chief, for the purchase of one new and unused field laser S100 field striper from Sherwin-Williams, Cheektowaga, New York, for a cost not to exceed $2,995 per the quote valid from April 3, 2024 to May 31, 2024, and which will be paid for with funds available in the town's 2024 Parks, Equipment, and other motorized equipment budget line item.
Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes.
Thank you again, Mr. Supervisor. I move resolution number 20. Whereas Saya Communications, 100 Stradman Street, Buffalo, New York, the contractor for the installation of 4 new radios, 3 new portable radios, and programming of all the radios with an old police VHS frequency for better communication among the Parks, Recreation, and Forestry staff, has submitted change order number 1 in the amount of $82 to the town board for their approval based on the description previously provided to the board. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Lancaster hereby approves change order number 1 to Saya Communications with respect to the outline descriptions provided to the board. The description of change order number 1 is the additional cost due to the replacement of a speaker that had no audio upon installation of radio. The original contract sum was $4,790.32. The increased change order amount of $82 brings the new contract sum to $4,872.32. Be it further resolved that the supervisor be and is hereby authorized to execute this change order on behalf of the town of Lancaster.
Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Councilmember Dickman, number 21, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Honorable Board, I offer Resolution 21. Whereas the town of Lancaster's Police Department has been replacing all unserviceable Panasonic Toughbooks mobile data terminals within their patrol vehicles with Rhino Tab M3 portable mobile data terminals, and whereas currently there are 3 unserviceable Panasonic mobile data terminals that need to be replaced, and whereas by letter dated April 25, 2024, Captain John Zeiters has requested that 3 new and unused Rhino Tab M3 portable mobile data terminals be purchased from Patrol PC Advanced Electronic Design Incorporated, a sole provider of Rhino Tab Advanced Mobile Data Terminals, which eliminates the need for competitive bidding pursuant to Section 103 of the General Municipal Law. And whereas the cost for the 3 replacement Rhino Tab M3 portable mobile data terminals for the aforementioned provider shall not exceed $17,481.30 per their quote dated April 22nd, 2024. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Lancaster hereby grants the request of Police Captain John Zeiters to purchase 3 new and unused Rhino Tab M3 portable mobile data terminals, which will replace the 3 unserviceable Panasonic Toughbooks mobile data terminals within the town of Lancaster Police Department's vehicles from Patrol PC Advanced Electronic Design, a sole provider, thereby eliminating the need for competitive bidding for a cost not to exceed $17,481.30 per their quote dated April 22nd, 2024, and which shall be paid for with funds available at the town's 2024 police equipment, public safety equipment budget. Be it further resolved that the Town of Lancaster Town Board hereby authorizes Lancaster Police Captain Jonathan Zeiters to execute quote number QUO-12438 dated April 22nd, 2024 from Patrol PC, signifying approval of the terms and conditions set forth therein.
Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 22. Whereas William Gummel, Police Chief of the Town of Lancaster, by letter dated April 25th, 2024, has recommended the appointment of Lieutenant Angela Greco to fill the vacancy that exists for Patrol Captain in the Town of Lancaster Police Department, and whereas Lieutenant Angela Greco is eligible for appointment to this position pursuant to the standards and procedures as set forth in the New York State Civil Service Law, now, therefore, be it resolved that Angela Greco of Lancaster, New York, is hereby appointed to the position of Patrol Captain in the Town of Lancaster Police Department effective May 6, 2024, contingent upon approval by Erie County Department of Personnel, and that such appointment shall be subject to all applicable provisions of law and subject to the execution of an employment agreement between the Town of Lancaster and Angela Greco, which is hereby approved as presented. Be it further resolved that the supervisor of the Town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question?
If I may.
Certainly.
Where it reads, as presented, hereby approved as presented, has anyone drafted the employment agreement yet?
No, I thought you were just brought in on that. Not yet? Not yet.
This morning, the
Okay.
chief asked me to meet with her after this appointment.
Okay. Hereby approved as will be presented.
That's fine.
Or
We'll approve it.
we'll
later.
approve.
Either way.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure, if
Will be
it's out there,
approved.
I haven't seen it.
Okay, I thought you were working on it. Okay. Okay. Now, let's get back to, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. I assume Angela is here. Angela, you can stand up. Angela, if I may, thank you very much for your service to the Town of Lancaster. We greatly appreciate it, and you're well deserving of becoming a captain in the Lancaster Police Department. Stay safe. Anybody else? Okay. Resolution number 23. Whereas, you can get pictures afterward if you want to hang around. Whereas John Pilato, Highway Superintendent for the Town of Lancaster, by letter dated April 29, 2024, has recommended the appointment of the following individuals to the position of part-time temporary seasonal in the Highway Department for the spring-summer season of 2024. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the following individuals are hereby appointed to the following part-time temporary seasonal position in the Highway Department for a period not to exceed 5 months, and that these being part-time positions provide no health insurance, sick days, vacations, or other fringe benefits not specifically mandated for part-time employees. They are Jack Ferrugia, Ryan Len, Cooper Bazooka, Jack Harrington, Luke, how do we say this? Thank you, Anna. And the hourly rates are from $16 to $16.50. Be it further resolved that the supervisor of the Town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Looks like the whole audience has left it.
Yeah, that cleared the room.
Okay.
Thank you for sticking with us.
Resolution number 24. Whereas the cleanliness and impeccable appearance of the various town offices and departments are maintained by several dedicated part-time permanent cleaners employed by the Buildings and Grounds Department, And whereas the cleaners have gone without a raise in salary since 2021, and whereas by email dated April 22nd, 2024, the Town of Lancaster Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Crew Chief Bruce Stutz has requested that an adjustment be made to the hourly rate of pay for the part-time permanent cleaners and recommended the wage increase from $16.40 to $18 per hour. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the hourly wage for the part-time permanent cleaners be and is hereby increased to $18 per hour, as was requested by the town crew chief Bruce Stutz. And be it further resolved that this wage increase shall be effective immediately and will be paid from the town's 2024 Buildings, Personnel Services, Part-Time Cleaners budget. And be it further resolved that the Lancaster Town Supervisor shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 25, whereas Diane M. Terranova, Town Clerk for the Town of Lancaster, by letter dated April 29, 2024, has recommended the appointment of the following individual to the following part-time permanent position. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the following individual is hereby appointed to the following part-time permanent position in the Town of Lancaster's Town Clerk's office, working not more than 19 3/4 hours per week, and that this being a part-time position provides no health insurance, sick days, vacation, or other fringe benefits not specifically mandated for part-time permanent employees. It's Katie Shepard of Lancaster, New York. Position is clerk. Pay rate is $21.85 per hour. Effective date, April 29, 2024. Be it further resolved that the supervisor of the Town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 26, whereas Matt Ficione, Code Enforcement Officer for the Town of Lancaster, received an application on March 11, 2024 from Niagara Frontier Inspection Agency requesting to conduct electrical inspections within the Town of Lancaster, and whereas Niagara Frontier Inspection Agency has submitted the necessary information to the Town of Lancaster Code Enforcement Officer, including the one-time registration fee and the certificates of insurance for both comprehensive liability and workers' compensation as stated in Chapter 16 of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, electrical inspections. And whereas Matt Ficione, Code Enforcement Officer, has requested by letter dated March 13, 2024, that Niagara Frontier Inspection Agency be permitted to conduct electrical inspections in the Town of Lancaster. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby authorizes Niagara Frontier Inspection Agency to conduct electrical inspections in the Town of Lancaster as described in Chapter 16 of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, electrical inspections. Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 27, whereas John Trojanowski, Executive Director for the Town of Lancaster Youth Bureau, by letter dated April 30th, 2024, has recommended the appointment of the following individuals to the position of part-time temporary seasonal at the Youth Bureau for the spring-summer season of 2024. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the following individuals are hereby appointed to the following part-time temporary seasonal positions at the Youth Bureau for a period not to exceed 5 months, and that these being part-time positions provide no health insurance, sick days, vacations, or other fringe benefits not specifically mandated for part-time employees. We have Lynn Delfonso, Kim Percy Aw, Ryan Kaminsky, Carol Kessel, Taylor Carlson, Daniel Reisdorf, Joseph Isgar, Kevin Kopersky, Jenna Patterson, and Stephanie Kemp. Be it further resolved that the supervisor of the Town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? John, are any of these people here? Thank you. On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 28. Whereas by resolution dated August 21st, 2023, the town board awarded Custom Curb Appeal the contract for removing and replacing 290 linear feet of concrete curbing, 4 sidewalk blocks, and 1 wheelchair ramp within the town of Lancaster at a cost of $32,500, which was to be paid from the town's 2023 highway budget. Whereas during the town's 2023 financial audit, it was discovered that the resolution prepared and presented by the town attorney's office during the prior administration did not properly follow New York State and town of Lancaster's procurement policies, which state all estimated public work contracts of less than or equal to $35,000, but greater than $20,000 require a written RFP and written proposals from at least 3 contractors. While 4 contractors were received, the majority were provided beyond the date that the resolution was adopted, awarding the contract. And whereas by letter dated April 25th, 2024, Highway Superintendent John Pilato notified the board that due to delays beyond the town's control, the work authorized in said resolution was never started in 2023, and he has been assured by the contractor that their contractual obligations and pricing will remain the same, $32,500 for 2024. And whereas in order to rectify the August 21st, 2023 resolution error, the town supervisor, Robert Leary, has requested that the August 21st, 2023 resolution be rescinded and a new resolution be adopted to properly award the contract per the New York State and town of Lancaster's established policies. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the resolution adopted August 21st, 2023, awarding Custom Curb Appeal the contract for removing and replacing 290 linear feet of concrete curbing, 4 sidewalk blocks, and 1 wheelchair ramp within the town of Lancaster at a cost of $32,500 is hereby rescinded. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Larry?
Yes. Councilmember Burkhart, Resolution 29, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board. I'm offering Resolution 29 for adoption. Whereas by letter dated April 25th, 2024, the Highway Department Superintendent John Pilato has requested that the Town Board authorize expenditure of funds from the town's 2024 Highway Fund for the removal and replacement of 290 linear feet of concrete curbing, 4 sidewalk blocks, and 1 wheelchair ramp within the town of Lancaster at the guaranteed 2023 rate of $32,500. And whereas the Highway Department solicited written proposals in 2023 and 4 responses were received for the town's concrete curbing, sidewalk, and wheelchair ramp project pursuant to Section 104 of General Municipal Law and in accordance with the town of Lancaster's procurement policy. And whereas John Pilato recommended that the contract for the renewal or removal and replacement of 290 linear feet of concrete curbing, 4 sidewalk blocks, and 1 wheelchair ramp within the town of Lancaster be awarded to Custom Curb Appeal for a amount not to exceed $32,500 per their proposal dated August 25th, 2023, and which will be paid for with funds from the town's 2024 Highway Fund General Repairs Contractual Expenses Curbing Budget Line 13-5110-0413. Now therefore it be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby accepts the proposal for Custom Curb Appeal, 29 Quincy Ave, Lancaster, to perform the removal and replacement of 290 linear feet of concrete curbing, 4 sidewalk blocks, and 1 wheelchair ramp within the town of Lancaster for an amount not to exceed $32,500 per their proposal dated August 25th, 2023.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Larry?
Yes. Councilmember Schroeder, number 30, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I move resolution number 30. Whereas Parks Crew Chief Bruce Stutz has requested authorization for the expenditure of funds for the printing and distribution of the Town of Lancaster Recreation Department's 2024 brochure to include 21,000 printed booklets and the cost of postage and mailing, and whereas the Recreation Director solicited 3 quotes and received 2 responses for the printing and distribution of the Town of Lancaster Recreation Department's 2024 brochure in accordance with the Town of Lancaster's procurement policy, And whereas by letter dated April 30th, 2024, the park crew chief has recommended that the town of Lancaster utilize Penny Lane Printing for the town of Lancaster Recreation Department's 2024 brochure, which includes 21,000 printed booklets and the cost of postage and mailing for the total cost of $7,601.52 per the proposal dated March 29th, 2024. And whereas funding for this project is available from the town's 2024 Playground and Recreation Contractual Expenses Recreation Supplies budget line item. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Lancaster hereby grants the park crew chief's request for the expenditure of funds for the printing and distribution of the town of Lancaster Recreation Department's 2024 brochure to include 21,000 printed booklets and the cost of postage and mailing, and authorizes the town supervisor to accept a proposal from Penny Lane Printing, Avon, New York, for a total amount not to exceed $7,601.52 in accordance with their proposal dated March 29th, 2024, and which will be paid for with funds available from the town's 2024 Playground Recreation Contractual Expenses Recreation Supplies budget line item.
Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? I would just want to point out that we have a draft here, a table of contents. It's going to include sports section, music, band schedule, pool, swim lessons, etc., outside organizations and other resources, parks and playgrounds, and highlighting 2024, all the different classes and everything that's offered, including the senior center and the youth bureau and their recreational departments will be in this booklet. And then also this amount of money is pretty much a one-time payment for this to be done, and in the future, hopefully the booklets will be paid for with advertising revenues from outside companies. On the roll. Anything else to, I'm sorry, anything else to add?
No, sir, you said it all.
Okay. On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Okay. Resolution number 31, Councilmember Dickman.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, Honorable Board. I offer resolutions 31 and 32 for adoption. Whereas the Lancaster Town Court, located at 525 Pavement Road, has been awarded a grant under the 2023-2024 cycle of the Justice Court Assistance Program, JCAP, in the amount of $16,827.50. Whereas the Honorable Town Justices Anthony Servey and David Stabler have requested to use those funds towards the purchase of new audio equipment for the reupholstering of the current furniture in the court's waiting room. And whereas the court staff obtained 3 quotes for the purchase and installation of new audio equipment and 2 quotes for the reupholstering of the waiting room furniture in accordance with the town of Lancaster's procurement policy. And whereas by letter dated April 16, 2024, the Honorable Town Justices have recommended that the new audio system be purchased and installed from Robert Mark Audio for an amount not to exceed $8,900 per their proposal dated April 11, 2024, and that the reupholstering of the court's waiting area furniture be awarded to Upholstery Unlimited LLC for an amount not to exceed $20,655 per their invoice dated March 14, 2024, for a combined expenditure of $29,555. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Lancaster hereby approves the purchase and installation of new audio system from Robert Mark Audio, Cheektowaga, New York, for an amount not to exceed $8,900 per their proposal dated April 11, 2024, and which will be paid for with funds made available in the town's 2024 Town Justice Equipment, Office Furniture, and Equipment budget. Be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Lancaster hereby awards the reupholstering of the court's waiting area furniture project to Upholstery Unlimited LLC, Depew, New York, for an amount not to exceed $20,655 per their invoice dated March 14, 2024, and which will be paid for with funds made available in the town's 2024 Town Justice Contractual Expenses, Repairs, and Maintenance budget. And be it further resolved that the 2024 adopted budget for the town of Lancaster be and hereby is amended to increase appropriations in the town justice and general fund budget to fund the above services as follows. First appropriation is for $10,328, and that's from unanticipated revenue received by the town, and that's going to go to contractual expenses, repairs and maintenance, and refunds of prior year expenditures. Next is appropriation for $10,327 from JCAP grant to contractual expenses, repairs and maintenance, and state other aid. The next appropriation is for $2,400 from an unanticipated revenue received by the town to equipment, office furniture, and equipment budget, and refund of prior year expenditures. The next appropriation is for $6,500 from JCAP grant to equipment, office furniture, and equipment budget, and state aid other.
Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes.
Number 32, whereas the Town of Lancaster Police Patrol Captain Jonathan Zeiters, by letter received April 29, 2024, has requested authorization to purchase one new and unused 2023 Dodge Charger Pursuit all-wheel drive vehicle for use by the Lancaster Police Department captains. And whereas the above referenced vehicle is available for purchase under the New York State's piggybacking law through the Onondaga County Division of Purchasing, Police and Administrative Vehicles, bid number 0010808, contract ID number 5126, from authorized vendor Robert Green Auto and Truck Incorporated, which eliminates the need for competitive bidding pursuant to Section 103 of the General Municipal Law. And whereas Captain Zeiters has recommended the purchase of the before-mentioned vehicle be made from Robert Green Auto and Truck Incorporated for a price of $36,721.03 for the proposed date of April 26, 2024. And whereas the town board deems it in the public interest to approve the purchase of said vehicle. Now therefore be it resolved as follows, that the town board of the town of Lancaster hereby approves the purchase of one new and unused 2023 Dodge Charger Pursuit all-wheel drive vehicle through the Onondaga County Division of Purchase, Police and Administrative Vehicles, from authorized vendor Robert Green Auto and Truck from Rock Hill, New York, as proposed by the town of Lancaster Patrol Captain Jonathan Zeiters for a cost not to exceed $36,721.03. Further quote dated April 26, 2024, and which will be paid for with funds from the town's 2024 Public Safety Police Asset Forfeiture Budget.
Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 33, whereas by letter dated April 16, 2024, Town Clerk Diane Terranova has requested adjustments be made to her records management portion of the Town of Lancaster's 2024 adopted budget. Now therefore be it resolved that the following budget amendment is hereby approved and shall be made to the 2024 adopted budget of the Town of Lancaster effective immediately. It's in records management, transfer $2,038.96 from contractual expenses, professional services, to equipment, office furniture, and equipment. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Okay, resolution number 34, whereas the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster, herein called Town Board and Town respectively in the County of Erie, has pursuant to town law created the Town of Lancaster Consolidated Water District, known as the District, and whereas the Town Board has directed William Shutt and Associates, P.C., competent engineers licensed in New York, to prepare a map, plan, and report for a water system capital improvements project within the district, and whereas such water system capital improvements project will generally consist of, but not be limited to, the installation of approximately 4,000 linear feet of water main along various roads in the town, along with the pavement rehabilitation and the installation of fire hydrants, valves, and appurtenances, as well as other such improvements as more fully identified in or contemplated by such map, plan, and report prepared by William Shutt and Associates, and referred to above, all of the foregoing to include all necessary site work, equipment, apparatus, and other improvements and costs incidental thereto and in connection with the financing thereof, collectively the district improvements. And whereas pursuant to the direction of the town, the engineer has completed and filed with the town board such preliminary map, plan, and report for such increase and improvement of facilities of the district, and has estimated the total cost thereof to be an estimated maximum amount of $1,775,000. Said cost to be financed by the issuance of serial bonds of the town in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $1,775,000, offset by any federal, state, county, and/or local funds received. Now, therefore, be it ordered that a meeting of the town board of the town of Lancaster, shouldn't that be a public meeting? It's right, okay. Be ordered that a meeting of the town board of the town of Lancaster will be held at Town Hall, 21 Central Avenue, Lancaster, New York, on May 20th, 2024, at 7:05 PM. Yeah, public meeting, okay. Shortly thereafter, to consider, increase, and improve, it will be held on May 20th, 2024, at 7:05 PM o'clock, or shortly thereafter, consider increase and improvement of facilities of the district, and to hear all persons interested in the subject thereof concerning the same, and for such other action on the part of the town board with relation thereto as may be required by law, and be it further ordered that the expense of said increase and improvement of the facilities shall be financed by the issuance of serial bonds of the town in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $1,775,000, said amount to be offset by any federal, state, county, and/or local funds received, and unless paid from other sources or charges, including but not limited to water rents, the cost of said increase and improvements of facilities shall be paid by the assessment levy and the collection of special assessments from the several lots and parcels of land within the district, which the town board shall determine and specify to be especially benefited thereby, so much upon and from each as shall be in just proportion to the amount of benefit conferred upon the same, to pay the principal of and interest on said bonds, as the same shall become due and payable except as provided by law, and be it further ordered that the town board may establish water rents as provided in paragraphs D of the subdivision 3 of Town Law, Section 198, and be it further ordered that this resolution shall constitute the declaration or reaffirmation of the town's official intent to reimburse, to the extent permitted, the expenditures of said increase and improvement of facilities with the proceeds of bonds, notes, or other obligations as required by United States Treasury Regulations, Section 1.150-2, and be it further ordered that the town clerk publish at least once in each newspaper designated as the official newspaper of the town for such publication, and post on the signboard of the town maintained pursuant to subsection 6 of Section 30 of the town law, a copy of this order certified by said town clerk, the first publication thereof, and said posting to be not less than 10 nor more than 20 days before the date of such public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman.
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder.
Yes.
Councilmember Studley.
Yes.
Supervisor Leary.
Yes. Okay, Councilmember Dickman, number 35, please.
Yep, the last one. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Board. I have Resolution 35 for adoption. Whereas Town of Lancaster Police Patrol Captain Jonathan Zeiders, by a letter received via email dated April 30th, 2024, has requested authorization to purchase lighting and radio equipment to be installed in the new 2023 Dodge Charger Pursuit all-wheel drive vehicle for use by the Lancaster Police Department. And whereas the town's police department is currently under contract with ASEA Communications to provide equipment and installation for repairs and new vehicle upfitting, which is in accordance with the town of Lancaster's procurement policy. And whereas Police Patrol Captain Jonathan Zeiders has recommended that the town of Lancaster authorize ASEA Communications to provide and install lighting and radio equipment into the new 2023 Dodge Charger Pursuit vehicle for an amount not to exceed $5,289, further quote dated April 30th, 2024. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Lancaster hereby grants Police Patrol Captain Jonathan Zeiders to purchase and have lighting and radio equipment into the new 2023 Dodge Charger Pursuit vehicle from Saya Communications, Buffalo, New York, for an amount not to exceed $5,289.86 per their quote dated April 30th, 2024, which will be paid for with funds from the town's 2024 Public Safety Police Asset Forfeiture Budget.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. That concludes our pre-filed resolutions. I think that's got to be a new record, right? 35?
Yeah,
It's close.
36, next.
Next, of course. Of course. Right now, we're going to do the presentation of communications by the town clerk. 211, Planning Committee. 212, received and filed. 213, resolution tonight. 214, Planning Committee. 215, Planning Committee. 216, resolution tonight. 217, to Code Enforcement. 218, Town Board. 219, resolution tonight. 220, resolution tonight. 221, resolution tonight. 222, resolution tonight. 223, received and filed. 224, Planning Committee. 225, received and filed. 226, received and filed and acted upon. 227, resolution tonight. 228, received and filed. 229, Planning Committee. 230, resolution tonight. 231, resolution tonight. 232, resolution tonight. 233, received and filed. 234, resolution tonight. 235, resolution tonight. 236, resolution tonight. 237, Code Enforcement. 238, received and filed. 239, resolution tonight. 240, resolution tonight. 241, resolution tonight. 242, resolution tonight. 243, Code Enforcement. 244, Drainage Committee. 245, Planning Committee. And 246, Planning Committee. Okay, that concludes our communications for this evening. Now, any persons that want to address the town board on any subject will be able to be heard. The town board will hear the concerns of persons desiring to address the town board on any town of Lancaster subject for a total period of 30 minutes. Please raise his or her hand and be recognized by the supervisor. Give your name and address to the town clerk. Speak directly to the town board members, not the audience, using the microphone provided, and speak once for 5 minutes or less, unless the town board grants a speaker an extension of this time limit. Do we have anyone who wants to address the town board at this point? Yes, sir, step on up.
Good evening, thank you. My name is Gavin O'Brien. I live at 10 Livingston Street here in the Village. I'm also the chair of the Village of Lancaster 175th Anniversary Committee. We have a lot of fun events planned for this summer, especially the week around Independence Day that we've termed Old Home Week. That week was going to end with a big capstone event on July 6th. It was the return of the 3-on-3 basketball tournament. I reached out to the park department earlier this week just to see what was going on with that, if I could help in any way, and I was told that it wasn't happening. It was kind of a shock. A lot of folks are pretty excited about the return to that tournament. When I followed up, I was asked for a reason. I was told that it was logistics, essentially. I was given a list of reasons, but logistics is the summary. So then I wondered, because I know last year there was an attempt to bring back kind of like a soft, like a reemergence of the event, and that was canceled due to weather. But even at that time, the Parks Department Facebook said, like, we'll be back in 2024. And when the town clerk gave her State of the Town address earlier this year, you mentioned that the return to the basketball tournament was something we were looking forward to this year. So I asked again, I'm like, is this canceled for July? Is it just because July is too soon, too busy? What about the rest of the year? And heard nothing back. I followed up a day later, heard nothing back. So now I'm here to ask you, what is the expectation for the basketball tournament? Is that not happening this year, or what?
This is the first time I heard this.
First time I've heard of it. It's my
I was
committee.
at a meeting the other day where they mentioned that it wasn't going to be going on. With somebody from the village said that, so I haven't heard that internally, so I don't know, but we will follow up on it to find out
I will
what
follow up
the
on
issue
it
is.
and let you know.
Okay? All right.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, thank
Have
you.
a good night.
Thank you, Austin.
Okay, does anybody else want to come up and address the town board at this point on any subject? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Patty Meckes from Clottell, the Citizens Against Wind Turbines. I just want to thank Mr. Supervisor and the council for considering the resolution. You are town number 15 that has signed on for a resolution. So congratulations and thank you so much. If you go to Facebook, you can see it on Facebook. We've got a map and all the towns are filling in. We still do need a little bit of help with a couple towns, and if you can put in a good word for us somewhere, we would appreciate it.
Why don't you, if you could send us an email as to what towns are left, that'd be great.
Okay. One off the top of my head is Tim Howard from Wales. I've made contact, and I just haven't spoken to him. So we're going to show up at a town board now, present, and we'll see where we go. I know it takes time, but thank you so very much. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Have a great night. Thank you. Does anybody else want to address the town board at this time on any subject matter? And seeing no hands up, I think we're concluding this particular part of the town board meeting. We are going to be going into executive session, and we have 3 different topics to talk about: personnel matter, attorney-client issue, and collective bargaining. Since Angela has stayed, do you want pictures with the town board before we run back there? Or?
No.
Completely? No? No. It's getting late. Well, it's tough. Okay, I mean, it's up to you, Captain. I mean, you know. Gotta be home by 9. Okay. Oh, let's make a motion. A motion to, well, do the pictures, then we'll make the motion.
Do the pictures.
Motion to do the pictures. Okay, second that motion.
I just want to say one thing on the record. The town of Lancaster works very well together. I've been in all the town board meetings. And
We're still being live streamed, just letting you know.
Okay. It's beautiful. You guys work together very well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your hard work.
Thank you.
Chief, how do you want us? Where do you want us?
You tell me. Absolutely. It's your night. We'll start with her. Okay. And the board.
Which camera are we going to first?
Oh, wait for Don. Wait for Don. Yeah. Yep.
No, are you work first?
Don, we're looking at you first. We're going. Okay, slide over.
The Photoshop.
You did have a mustache. Okay. Thank you. One more, and then we're all going to be here. You should have a captain in there, too. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Can you snap a picture?
Sure.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're good.
Diane, there's so many hours tonight, she doesn't need to get in there.
What about the other side?
Lancaster is the best.
Yeah, way to clear a room. I know. I couldn't believe it. My whole family was here.
You still got that, there's people there, can yell at us or something.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God. And then everybody cleared out. I was like, all right.
Okay, we're still live streaming. Can I get a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
And a second? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhardt?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder? Yes. Councilmember Studley? Supervisor Perry?
Yes. Good night, everybody. Take care. It's like doctor.